Details are emerging in the Air India Phuket-Delhi flight incident. The pilot reportedly issued a pan urgency call to Delhi ATC after entering Delhi airspace, even though the loss of altitude had occurred earlier over Odisha skies. Nearby ATC units were reportedly not alerted at the time. The flight continued towards Delhi, where the ATC was informed that 4 to 5 passengers had suffered injuries. Delhi ATC then alerted an ambulance and provided the aircraft with priority landing. A pan call indicates an urgent situation requiring assistance, but is considered less severe than a mayday distress call. So these, of course, are the big details we are tracking with regards to that Air India Phuket-Delhi flight. Atul Ranjan joins us for more on this story. Atul, had this pilot of the flight sent out an urgency call to Delhi ATC before landing?
Well, yes, new facts are emerging that clearly states that the pilot of the AI 2379, the Phuket-Delhi flight, gave an urgency call, a pan call, which is obviously still lower than the midday call that was given out to the ATC, right before, in fact, before entering the Delhi airspace, and that is when the Delhi ATC coordinated with the aircraft, with the flight, and provided them a clearer airspace and a shortcut to landing. And that is why we see that earlier as well on 4th of August, when the incident actually happened, NewsX exclusively reported that this particular flight took 25 minutes less time to arrive to Delhi compared to the typical time that was taken by the same flight from same slot, prior to 4th of August. And that fact gets corroborated by this new fact that has emerged, that Delhi ATC was indeed contacted by the pilot of the AI 2379 who gave an emergency call. And this pan call essentially entails that the aircraft or the passengers on board need some medical urgency. While medical urgency may not be life-threatening, but they require urgent attention, and that is what was exactly done by Delhi ATC when ambulance was provided, a priority landing was provided for this particular aircraft. So certainly, but question now is arising is while the AI 2379 went through all the sudden downfall, sudden loss in altitude in the skies of Odisha, why was call to ATC delayed so much? Why was nearby ATC, say Bhubaneswar or in Kolkata or in Varanasi or in Lucknow, they were not reached out? So that is a big question that has once again being asked to the Air India, because remember earlier as well, passengers account had this indeed suggested that passengers were indeed pleading to the pilot to to land to a nearby airport because the kind of injuries some of the passengers had suffered was quite severe. But this particular fact that has emerged certainly raises a fresh question if there was a deliberate attempt by pilots of Air India to underplay the incident, because they did not reach out to a nearby ATC right after the incident, but continued their journey towards Delhi and then ultimately reached out to Delhi ATC. So fresh questions for Air India to answer.
All right, appreciate you joining us, Atul, with those details. On that note, we're slipping into a short break.